Hello and welcome back to Satisfactory Update 4, a Let's Play series. Between episodes, all I've really done is add this nifty detailing to the sides of our first building in the mid-game base. These FE markings on each side. FE is the periodic table representation for iron. So it's just a cool little detailing. It took a minute with the color gun, and it, lets you identify the building at a distance with a quick glance. Now we're going to move into steel smelting so that we can unlock the rest of these milestones in tiers 3 and 4. I decided to put the steel smelting building right over here. We're going to leave some room for iron products, as well as, or possibly copper smelting in this area right here. We could do all the smelting on this half and progress forward to the west, or we could just add a second layer and do all the smelting on the ground floor, all the initial raw resource processing on the ground. I'm saying ground, but it's lake level, right? On the level of the lake, and then build further processing of those ingots above the smelters. And that's what I typically do when I'm building larger factories and outposts, is as I move up in height for like each additional upper level of the factory, there'll be more complexity. We'll take the materials either like smelted or refined at the lower levels and combine them with other materials in the upper levels to make more advanced items. But going back to steel, we're going to use 2 of the 3 belts of iron ingots that we're producing in our steel factory. That means we'll use both of the copper belts that we have brought over from our starter base. And together, using the solid steel ingot recipe, that should support exactly 12 smelters. They produce at a rate of 60 per minute, 60 steel ingots per minute. That means that each foundry consumes 40 coal and 40 iron ingots per minute. 240 ingots per minute, that's the amount we're producing for a single belt in the ingot factory. Divided by 40 is 6 foundries, and because we have 2 belts, we'll need 12 foundries total. I'm going to kind of mimic the iron ingot smelting here, and we'll do 6 foundries on the lake level, and then another 6 foundries above. Let's get started. I've got the first 2 placed. I'm going to leave some space here, make it look a little cleaner. Foundries have 2 inputs, and that means you need a little more room for the inputs, a little more space between the foundries and the splitters that feed them. So there are 6. Now we're going to set up stackable conveyor pulls at the start and the end. And we're gonna okay, problem. These 2 are rotated the wrong direction. We just took out a wall there as well. Let's replace the wall. Replace these 2 foundries. There we go. No, this one's still rotated the wrong direction. What's going on? Okay, here we go. 3rd time the charm, or 3 strikes and you're out. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing I did for the coal generators. I'm going to hop up, and I'm going to use the height here to help me align these splitters. Okay. we'll repeat for these two. Just use the ladder. And not wait for the jetpack or the hoverpack. We're closing in, we're closing in. Either this episode or the next episode, we'll finish out all the milestones for tiers 3 and 4 and get started on space elevator production to unlock the next tiers. So now that we've got these set up, we're going to remove some of these splitters. We'll say the top splitter go to the first input and the second input will be fed by the second splitter a little bit lower on the second belt there. Okay, so it'll look like this. Then you grab your belts. And again, all these belts will need to be upgraded as soon as we unlock Logistics Mark III and upgrade our miners. Just so we're working at full tilt capacity here. Using Mark II belts for now. Oh, we're almost out. And then we can swap to Mark I for the splitter to the foundry. And it should look very clean. Continue hooking these up. Seems like every time I start recording a video, it's night in Satisfactory. Okay, solid steel ingot. 40 iron ingots, 40 coal per minute, producing 60 steel ingots per minute. Let's copy that. Okay. Now, you know, ideally, we would have had one more space there so that these outputs could be aligned with a single wall, but it's not a problem. Not a big deal at all. We'll just put 2 doors down instead of 1. And find a way to make the inputs look good. We'll put up some walls. Check the height here. I think we're going to need one more height to make this work. Or one more wall section as opposed to the iron ingot factory. We've gotten away with this height. We could have. Okay. That's plenty of room. We'll go with that. Okay, let's put a walkway in. Some railings. I like to use the glass foundations anywhere there's a belt below, just so we can kind of see what's going on, make sure everything's working without going overboard in the glass. I've got a pretty beastly PC, but there's no doubt that the glass does have an impact on performance. Also, it's just, I think, just better used as an accent than a, you know, like a primary building foundation. Make sure that the glass is all oriented the same direction. That'll definitely set off your OCD. I guess we'll do 2 rows of glass here in the middle. In the future, I'll try to be more mindful about building at an odd number of foundations in width. Good. Standard 1 meter high foundations for the rest of the floor. And the last edge here. Or not. There we go. Okay, so we'll just copy this this group of 6 on the second floor. Let's just finish it up with some power nubs. Use Mark II. We'll center them like this. If we had Mark III, one Mark III power nub could supply all 6 of these with connections to spare, but we're not there yet. Need plastic for the high-speed connectors, and that means oil. Okay, so these are all connected to their own power grid. I don't think do I have the materials on me? Yeah, I need 1 more steel beam for a power switch. We'll set that up. I'm going to pause the recording while I finish this factory, and I'll be back with you after the flip. Alright, we're back. Steel factory, or the steel ingot factory, mostly finished at this point. This is the first level. We'll head up the ramp to the second level. The same. I've not connected the power yet. Let's get that set up. Double wall outlet. Put it here. Connect it. Okay, so now every machine on this floor is connected to this wall outlet. It's actually moved a little bit higher. Now I'll quickly note the outputs while we're up here. I've split them. With this recipe, we're outputting 60 steel ingots per minute per foundry. So these 3 will be producing 180. These 3 will also be producing 180. Together that's 360. Mark II belts, the limit is 270. So we need 2 belts, 1 output from each group of 3. And we'll head back down to the ground floor. Let's note the position of that double outlet there. We'll put another Mark II outlet, roughly the same spot on the first floor. Connect them on the outside of the building. Come in. Is that too high? Yeah, that's too high by one. There we go. Connect them on the outside. And when we connect this, all of the machines in this building are connected to each other. Now we've got another power switch right here. Let's run power from our pole generator network. We can't connect to this outpost directly. We want that on a separate power grid so we can turn it on and off with the power switch. Let's upgrade that power pole to a Mark II. And we'll bring a power line across. Do this without clipping. Let's just grab it from over here. While we're here, we'll take a look at the coal inputs. The coal is coming down from the 4th and 5th belts. They're being routed down. This is one wall foundation higher than the iron ore. I haven't completed the tunnel yet, just so we could kind of see what's going on. A lot of whale ticks in this area. Running power. Okay, so at this point we've got 2 lines of iron ingots coming out of the smelting factory here. We'll close this off as time allows. You know, pretty it up. So the iron ingots are on this level, the coal is above them. Okay, so can't avoid clipping this way. Let's do... Let's see. Okay. Let's do this. It's not ideal, but you know, it'll work. How high do we want to go here? Here. Okay, double wall outlet. This is the power switch for this building. We'll have a double wall outlet up here. The A terminal. We will always use the A terminal for our main power grid. Okay, now we're just going to try to... This isn't really the best perspective for this, but we'll... Too high. Perfect. Jump up there. It's not. Let's get. Let's build a ladder. Okay, these won't clip. Doke. And then right here we'll connect to the power grid. Okay, we're connected. We see the max consumption 521, total production 1200. I don't know why we need a switch to enter the name, but you do. Steel ingots. Even if we turn that off, it's still... That really doesn't change anything, I can tell. Now, from the B terminal, we'll connect this to the ceiling, and now all of this should show up on the B terminal. Max consumption 192, obviously not producing any power on the circuit. Turn it on, and the grids are linked. We see the chain. Definitely in need of lights here. So we've got, let's just take a quick look at the inputs. Iron ingots coming in on the right two windows. Coal. Coming in here. We've got conveyor lifts taking it down to the same level. Coal going in on the left. Now what I've done is I've taken the outer lanes, one of each, just routed it right back up to the outside, and then those are lifted to the second set of 6 foundries. We'll enclose all of this with glass, bring it up. I'm using the pipeline connectors just to block off those windows. It looks cool, or cooler than an empty window. Now we need to set up our outputs here. So these are the outputs from the second floor. Grab our conveyor lifts, bringing them down, bringing them down. These get blocked off, I believe. Okay, yeah. And then on the inside, pull one of these, and we set up the conveyor lifts for the first floor outputs. That lined up? I believe so. And one more. Now again, all these belts will need to be upgraded. All the lifts will need to be upgraded to Mark III as soon as we've unlocked that, and that's the next step, converting these steel ingots into steel pipes and steel beams. But now each of these windows should have a belt carrying 180, well right now 120, once the belts are upgraded, 180 steel ingots per minute. That's a lot to work with. That's a solid starting point. And the nice thing about these buildings like this is if you weren't planning on transitioning to the outpost method, these are pretty modular buildings. You could just keep building additional levels up and get creative with the belts, upgrading the belts to double their capacity once you've got like Mark V belts and Mark III miners. You just keep adding levels with more smelters to double up your output. It's pretty modular. Alright, next step, beams and pipes. Let's take a look at those recipes. Put down 2 constructors. Steel beams, 60 steel ingots per minute to produce 15 steel beams per minute. Steel pipes, 30 ingots per minute, half as many ingots to produce 20 steel pipes. So, each foundry is producing 60 ingots per minute. Each foundry can support 1 constructor making steel beams or 2 constructors making steel pipes. The question is, how do we balance them? And I think some thought needs to go into the entire scope of this game. Now in Update 3.5, it was very possible to phase out steel beams completely late game. There was really no use for them once you constructed the last of your versatile frames for the space elevator parts. Once you were no longer using Mark III belts, you really had no pressing need for steel beams. You could use alternate recipes to eliminate them. But in Update 4, you still need them for things. For like you need versatile frameworks to make the next round of space elevator parts. Like with the fourth round with the huge, massive numbers. So I don't think we're going to reach a point in this playthrough where we eliminate steel beams. We're always going to want them being made. But at the same time, steel pipes are hugely needed. We're going to use them for rotors and for stators, for every motor, for modular frames, for heavy modular frames. We're going to need a ton of steel pipes. That said, we're producing 20 per minute per constructor versus 15 per minute, so that's already more. And it's actually, if you look at it on a per foundry basis, each foundry can support 15 steel beams per minute. Each foundry can support 40 steel pipes per minute, 2 constructors. So I'm thinking, for simplicity's sake right now, since I've not done a full playthrough balancing this start to finish, let's just go 50-50. Let's have half of our foundries devoted to steel beam production, half of them devoted to steel pipe production, and let's try to do it in a smart way where we can adjust that later. We can adjust the constructor recipe, the recipes at a later date if we need to tweak the balance a little bit. So let's consider this. With 180 steel ingots on a belt, that's only 3 constructors making steel beams per belt. 6 constructors with steel pipes. That's nothing, that's very few. So if we were to do something like to set the factory up entirely for steel pipes, then perhaps we could play with power switches or something to quickly switch the constructors on and off. We could just build enough constructors for steel pipes and just turn them on and off. Let's plan for using the entire output for steel pipes. Obviously we won't do that, but we'll have it ready if it's needed. So that's 6 constructors per belt. I think we'll have 2 floors, 12 on each floor. Is there enough room for that here? I wanted to leave some space. Let's step out from the wall. Let's say we start here. One, 2, 3, 4, 6. We'll do 6 more over here. Okay, now something to consider. Belt capacities. We set it up like this. We would need 2 belts on the inside. That's not going to work. Because to feed this many constructors making steel pipes, that's 360, and our Mark II belts won't be able to support that. Can they support the outputs of 20? That's 20 times 12, that's 240. Yes, they can. So we'll just swap the orientation here, have them outputting to the center. And then we'll have one belt feeding each row of 6. That's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. We'll reclaim these. So what I'm thinking is we'll set these 3 to steel beams, right? These 3 to steel beams. These 3 will be steel pipes. But these 3 here and these 3 here, these final 6 to the north, will be powered on a separate power switch that will leave turned off for the moment, because the belts, as long as these are making steel beams, the belts won't have the the ingots to supply these last 3. But we can come at a later date, if we decide we need more pipes, convert a few of these to pipes, and then more of these constructors will be fed, and we can turn them back on with the power switch. This game, I mean, it's really crying for a logistics system, something similar to Factorio, but there's nothing like that yet. I have hopes. The future, like the introduction of power switches, that's huge. But a logistics system would be really amazing. Like for trains too, if you could set up a system where trains are programmed to dock and unload at specific stations rather than at any station where there are freight stations that align with the cars. Okay, let's plan the walls here. I like to leave a lot of room. So the splitters will go here. This will be one belt. We'll have another belt over here. Let's put the walls right out here. It's a lot of room, but it's better to have too much room than not enough. So we've got a lot of leg to work with here, right? Be a door. Okay, now let's think about the routing the ingots here. It's the best way. Could just do it directly, right? Like have the a window here, the window here. Yeah, I like it, but it'll have to be double window. We'll match the same system as before. Double window. And these, let's see, we'll want glass foundations. don't like the way the orientation flips in here. It's annoying. Okay. So here we'll have it's coming in. Right turn. Another right turn. There's two belts. Now we'll take the outside belt, pump that up. Then we'll repeat that over here. So I've just kind of come up with this system of like the enclosed belts very recently, basically in the really quick playthrough I did of Update 4 before starting this series. And it's not necessary at all, but I think it looks really clean, and especially like this when you keep it off the ground, so you don't have to like utilize any parkour or jetpacks to get over the belts. I think it's nice, but I like the look of these buildings being connected with the enclosed corridors. Late game, these outposts, the outposts that we build, will be much bigger, and they'll be connected with trains and drones. That makes no sense. Why was this belt not too long, but this belt is? What a mystery. Okay. Use the right angles, make it look clean. And we'll come inside, and we're gonna pop this up here, back out to the outside of the building. This belt, the inner belt, basically just gonna go right there. Can we do that without flipping? Does that look clean enough? Let's improve that a little bit. Let's add a conveyor lift. Yeah, it's better. And another. Okay. Let's plug those holes with some pipeline wall holes. This will be a door. Walls, obviously. How are my resources? 1,100 plates, 5,300 plus concrete. I think we're fine for now. Although we are running really low on reinforced plates, I've basically emptied out our supply. Fortunately, as soon as we turn this factory on, we will start replacing our reinforced belts, our Mark II belts, with Mark III belts, reclaim those reinforced. And the way these walls are flipping orientation, it's really slowing me down. I know the differences between the inside of a wall and the outside are subtle, but they are not completely insignificant in terms of aesthetic. Nope. Okay, the next row will be frame windows, and these are identical on either side. Now, because we've only made ingots to this point for this mid-game base, iron ingots and steel ingots, we haven't really considered storage, right? Because I personally never buffer my ingots with storage containers. That's just me. But now, we're going to need to start thinking about storage, because we're going to be producing our first items here at the lake. Steel beams and steel pipes. Do we want to route everything to a central storage location here at the lake, and then from that location out to wherever it's needed? Maybe. Maybe. Something to think about between episodes. Okay, at this point I usually switch to glass for where the belts are, right? So that'll be right here. And watch the orientation of that support bar in the center. You can see it from below, but you can't see it from above, so it's placing glass, it's better to be below them. See it flip there? I caught it. Then the center row as well, where this row of mergers is. And then we'll just fill in the ends. And then back to foundations for the rest. Now I'm thinking we'll add lights to these solid foundations in the center once we've mined a little bit of quartz. We've unlocked the lights in the coupon shop. We just don't have the quartz to make the lights themselves yet. Okay, I'm going to pause the video and finish this outpost, and when I resume, we'll be at the end of the episode, and we'll see the pipes and beams being constructed. So, see you in 1 second. Alright, picking up where we left off. Got both floors constructed now. The second floor is completely dedicated to pipes, outputting to the left window here. The first floor, the first 6 to the south are making beams, and on the same power grid as the top floor, the 6 to the north are going to be on their own power grid. Right now they're selected to pipes. I've had a few thoughts regarding this while I was setting this up, and like the best way to get the most functionality from these power switches would be to have, you know, complete floors just dedicated to one or the other, like to pipes or beams. But we're still going to, you know, try to squeeze a little bit out of these power switches in this factory. Okay, so this power line leads to the 6 at the end here that are making pipes. We're going to put this on circuit B. Now circuit A on this power switch, we'll name this additional pipes, or we'll say surplus pipes. No? So, okay. For this power switch, this is the main power switch for the building. Circuit A leads to our power grid. Oh man, our max consumption is really creeping up on our max production. Circuit B is the entire building, minus those last 6. So it's, what would that be, 18 constructors total. We've got that connected. This leads to circuit B. Now, let's plug in circuit A to this circuit A, or what do we want to call this? Node A, switch A. We're going to connect that to the grid inside the building. So we see the entire grid, right? But circuit B for this switch is only 24 megawatts. It's only the remaining 6. So if we flip the switch, we should see those last 6 turn green. And we do. We can flip the switch, turn everything in the building off. Flip it back on. And only these 6, the first 6 making beams, everything on this floor making pipes. Excellent, we're making pipes, taking them down. Same system as before, bringing it in and then back out of the building. We need to hook up this belt here. So, like as we upgraded these belts, we would have the it'd be possible to just leave these on pipes, but then we would need a smart splitter separating this lane because we're producing pipes and beams on the same belt. Why are these yellow? They not receiving enough ingots? Okay, that's the belts aren't moving fast enough, so that's expected. But we are basically ready to upgrade the belts now that we're making the steel beams and the pipes. We can unlock the rest of the milestones. Let's put a door here. And just for now, we're going to set up two storage containers. One for pipes, one for beams. Just to start collecting them, so we can unlock the milestones. Between episodes, I'll put some thought into storage for this mid-game base and how that should look. But that's going to be it for this episode. Take a quick look back here. We've got the iron outposts. I completed the work on these conveyor tubes, corridors. They look great. I love all the glass. Put some writing on this steel, STL. The buildings look great. They look realistic. And then over here on this side here, we'll need to name this, what, like beams, pipes? I'm not sure yet. This is a double wide corridor for the 4 belts. But it looks great. I mean, I think it looks great. Anyway, that's it for the episode. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you like what you're seeing. Next episode is gonna be probably bring copper and limestone down, set those up really quickly, and then we're moving on to reinforced plates, modular frames, rotors, stators, motors, industrial encased beams, space elevator parts, blasting into tiers 5 and 6. We're going to try to squeeze all of that into the next episode. And I hope you guys are here for it. I'm having a great time. This is just the mid-game base, not even the final game base. Like the final iteration of this factory system. Multitudes bigger. Multitudes. Anyway, that's it. I'm Gray. I'll see you all in the next episode.